Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday, September 10th, 2024 Board of Health meeting. Roll call.
Charles Serene.
Okay, James LaQueer. Additions or deletions anticipated 48 hours in advance. I'm gonna add an addition. I wanna have a discussion about sending a letter to the Board of Selectmen. We'll put that at 1.8. Tobacco regulations hearing was closed 8/27/24. We don't have a full board now, so we're gonna pass on that, if that's okay with you.
Are you sure Joan's on
Joan's
line?
oh, she's on the line. Okay,
Yes.
well, we'll listen to this then. Sorry about that, Joan.
That's okay. Do you want to move it to the next meeting till you have a full board?
I prefer to, yes.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. No problem at all. I did send an email and I accidentally sent it to Carla, your old email address.
I got it. It went out to the members.
Oh, okay. So if you guys want to review that for the next meeting, because it just explains why we'd move forward with this draft. And then the next meeting, when you're a full board, we would look at the top sheet of the draft regulation, 1 through 16. The 1, 5, 8, 14, and 15 is what the board would be deciding on doing because that's new stuff. Everything else you already have in your current reg. We would only vote on other things if you decide you want to remove something from your reg, but I don't think that that was the intention or the purpose of creating the draft. So it should be pretty simple. And I might have a little bit more information by your next meeting on, some of the questions that the board had about moving forward with, why we're not moving forward with a vape restriction right now.
Okay, that's very good. So we'll put that on for the next meeting then, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Joan.
Yeah, thanks. Paul Canal Street, septic upgrade.
I've got filled up copy.
Oh,
Okay. Easier to look at.
I agree.
And on behalf of Grace Miha, the owner of 12 Canal Street. It's an existing 5-bedroom, 2-family home that has a failed septic system. Existing tank is here. And the existing failed leach system is right in here. We went out and did a couple test holes on the backside of the leach field and did a perk test. All nice material. You have Squannacook River right here. This is coming down from 119, last house on the left before you hit the bridge. So we went to conservation at their last hearing and got approved. Everything's all set with them. It's all set with Natural Heritage. We have our order conditions ready to go and get recorded. So this is our last stop. Special conditions, what we're looking for. Leaching facility to a wetland should be 100 feet. We have 84 feet, which would be from the closest point to the leaching field. Septic tank, pump chamber, and leaching to a flood plain 100 feet. Septic tank is 19 feet. And then the pump chamber is 23, and then the leaching field is 69. So that's actually from, I believe it's this zone X here, which would be the floodplain. So whether it comes up that way or not, maybe once in a lifetime, but it's definitely on the maps, and we have to ask for it based on your regulations. So we're taking the old tank out, gonna pump crush, remove it, fill it, put a clean out at the end, and then we're gonna slide the new tanks up into here. And that was a request for the Natural Heritage, part of the conservation filing, to get us out of this protected habitat. So there's a buffer along the river that has protected habitat species that we have to watch for in regards to that. So they had us push that out.
Then we have the 100-foot buffer zone here as well as the 100-foot inner riparian. So we're,
as far away as we can get.
Six, 7, 9.
and then 11 different. Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty flat up where we did the testing.
Mhm. Okay, so you're asking for these two variances?
Correct.
Okay, you wanna make a motion to accept those two variances?
Make a motion to accept the two variances.
Okay, I'll second that. That's a good thing. And this is a pre-existing condition. You always have to cooperate with pre-existing conditions because that's the way it is, so. I would like a motion to approve 12 Canal Street Edgecombe with the variances.
I propose a motion to approve 12 Canal Street.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, quite well.
Rick, did you have any other subjects?
You got any other thing for us?
The country estates and then
Okay.
new management.
All right, yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you.
Good night, Jack.
I'm in the office tomorrow if you need anything.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Got the permits for review. We got any there? Nope. No? Country Estates, let's go, Rick.
So Anestis is on, he's the chairman of the Association for Country Estates. And so I didn't see anything from him in writing, but this is kind of a continuation of the board's discussion regarding the potential for an enforceable agreement for them to install a main drain on the pool there.
Are you live yet?
I'm here, yes. Rick, I did send you an email roughly an hour ago. I'm sorry I got out of work later than anticipated today. Essentially, what I did was I kind of outlined everything per your last email for the Board of Health. Essentially, what it does is it just kind of summarizes what we're up against, and that is a main drain for our pool. This is the circumstance was very unforeseen. You guys, I'm not sure if you guys are too familiar with the complex and its entirety, but over the last couple of years, we have completely restructured our board. Our approach to manage the complex as well as put in place a capital improvement plan has been extremely strategic on our end to not place financial constraints on our residents. With that said, we do have a lot of items on the horizon that we do plan on, tackling in terms of capital improvements. Essentially, I just kind of list them off here. Some we've already completed. For example, repaving of the parking lots. We had a stormwater drain installed already for that. The second portion of that project would include the actual repaving of the parking lots. We have to renovate building 2, the common areas. We had a expansion tank on our hot water tank blow off. So the whole bottom floor and all of the condominium units on that floor suffered severe water damage. With that being said, the carpet runs throughout the entirety of the building, so you can't just replace it by section. It's an older carpet too, so we couldn't find anything that would match. Another project would include replacement of the roofs for buildings 2 and 3. We've already tackled building 1 towards the beginning of this year, I think February.
Let's go to the pool now. Let's go to the pool.
Yeah, so the pool, yes, I just wanted to emphasize that we do have a lot of projects on the horizon. The pool in itself, I'm not sure exactly how much it would cost to install a main drain. I'm not sure exactly what is needed. I imagine there's probably some sort of engineering needed along with a pool contractor to come out and give us, quotes for install and labor. We've already reached out to a few pool companies and we're experiencing some difficulties because they no longer deal with cement pools. So we're open to recommendations. Should Carla or Rick have any for us. With that being said, our argument here is that we've been able to keep the pool as clean as it needs to be, and we've been able to not only meet the standards, but we've also been able to exceed the standards set by the state code. And I outline that as well in my letter that I emailed to Rick and Carla. Again, I'm sorry for the delay. I am proposing a 3-year plan so we can treat this as, I mean, that's unreal. That's almost unrealistic for a line item this big, but we can probably work within that timeline and treat this as a capital expenditure and set aside money on a monthly basis in order to pay for the full cost of the main drain in, let's say, we're approaching 2025 now. So I said in my letter, 2028. So that's kind of where we're at, just to not divulge too much.
And so, yeah, that's kind of the 3-year period is somewhat in line with what Steve Hughes from the Department of Public Health had offered as a way to try to you get there, but also continue to allow them to operate. And so I don't think you've done one, Paul, yet, but you know, Jim, how we signed enforceable agreements for replacement of septic systems in lieu of an inspection. The one I can think of is 22 Sonora Road came in to do it. And I believe in the end, we did sign that enforceable agreement because they located the cesspool that they were saying was failed and they were going to replace. But it would be a similar agreement that would lay out a timeline, would lay out things that you wanted to see as far as points that they could hit along the way. So estimates from contractors, check-ins at certain dates to update us and tell them, yeah, we're financially and otherwise on track to get this main drain installed by the date that we agreed upon. If there's anything that the board wanted to see as far as additional inspections, we could look at like bacteriological testing to make sure that those standards are being met. You could do what you think is reasonable to get to that point where 3 years down the line is what they're proposing. They could get that main drain in. And so, I think this is kind of a start of a longer discussion. So if the board's open to it, then we could try to start to draft something with that 3-year period. And what the board would have to do is come up with like, the things that they want to see along the way, be met by Country Estates, submitted to us, inspections that we do throughout the summer months when they're open, whatever you felt was reasonable.
So just to kind of hit along what Rick said regarding protection. I mean, some of the measurements that we've already taken in place in order to protect the health and safety of our residents. For example, we've replaced our pump from a 1.5 horsepower pump to a 2.5 horsepower pump, in turn increasing the flow rate to 93.6 gallons per minute, which is above the standard of 90 gallons per minute. Our current turnover rate now, so the water to turnover, is 1.17 times every 8 hours, which is also above the standard turnover rate of 1 time every 8 hours. Currently, testing is done 3 times per day, and all chemicals are well within the safe range for operation. Lastly, unlike most commercial pools, our pool only averages a maximum of 5 bathers at a time, and that is an absolute maximum. Usually, we're only seeing about 2 or 3 residents out there. And also, I imagine you got my prior letter with all of the historical data with our variance request. Essentially, it just shows that, we're not only meeting these expectations, but we're exceeding them. So these actions have not been taken lightly in lieu of a main drain.
Topographically, the bottom of that pool is what, 9 feet deep from?
How deep is it in Estes at the deepest part?
Pool itself, I'm not sure exactly how deep it is. We have a CPO who runs the pool. He works in this. His actual job is within this line of work. He's fully licensed. He knows every single little detail about this pool. Unfortunately, he was unable to be in attendance tonight.
All right, Rick, when they're gonna drain the pool with the chlorine and everything in it, does that just go right off and go into surface water and go into the river when they drain that?
Are they over 200 feet from the river? Cause they might have to do something as far as filing with Conscom if they are. But
How often would the pool need to be drained?
I mean, you would only need to drain it for the work for the main drain. Other than that, it's, the water levels are lowered, but it's not completely drained.
No, for the winter, there's always water sitting in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's covered, et cetera, et
Yeah,
cetera.
so they wouldn't typically do it, but for the main drain work, they're likely gonna have to cut concrete and all that, so they're gonna have to drain the pool when that happens.
So there's going to be a discharge point approximately how far from the bank of the river?
I'd have to look on GIS maps to give you an exact figure. My guess is it's probably in excess of 500 feet away, because you got the, what is it, Squanicook Terrace right there, or whatever the road is.
Yeah, that's the neighboring street there. Yes.
The river's on the other side, and then you got the whole complex. I would guess about 500 feet or so.
Not to mention, we just installed that stormwater drain on the side of building 2. So if we do drain our pool, I'm not sure if it would follow the same, I guess, path as stormwater, if you will. So when we do repave those parking lots, would that play a factor in when we drain our pool?
I guess we'd have to get into those specifics as we get closer. But I don't do this kind of work. I've never seen it done. Probably would have to rely on the contractor to propose what he would want to do.
He's proposing a 3-year repair on that.
Yeah.
If we gave him an additional year, would that be an obstruction to what the state would require, or where can we go?
He really kind of laid out, something that he's seen before. You guys could do whatever you feel comfortable with. So if you wanted to give them an additional year and make it a 4-year agreement for them to accomplish that, then you certainly could. I would just say, you want to keep on top of them to make sure that we're still on track. So when we get to year 4, we don't find out that they're not going to be able to do it for whatever reason, or they're not going to do it for whatever reason.
Paul, my thoughts are, with everything the way they are, price-wise in the economy and things that are going on, they're giving us a valiant effort to be able to make the upgrade on that pool. And it's my opinion that if we were to give them the extra year and they're in compliance all the time with progress showing to get the funds available to make the repair in that pool, it would be a little bit easier on the association there, et cetera. And meanwhile, they'd still be able to use the pool, right?
Yeah.
Until that project is funded and ready to go to be repaired.
Yep.
So, would you be considerate to agree with that way of thinking, or have you got another opinion? You agree with that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, what we just discussed is giving you an additional year to be able to appropriate the proper funds to do that repair and get it done so that you're not gonna be financially in harm's way further than you are today.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. Honestly, like, I think 3 years is doable, but with an extra year, that definitely gives us a little bit of a cushion. All things considered, we do have other projects on the horizon. I highlighted all of those in my letter, so I'm sure whenever Rick or Carla gets access to the letter, they can provide it to you, so you can have additional insights just to see what we're up against. In addition to that, we have been dealing with a lot of deferred maintenance issues from butch contractors and stuff like that. So this is fantastic. Yeah.
We're willing to do that, but now in the event that does not happen, the pool will be shut down.
Absolutely. Yep.
Will be shut down. There's no questions asked.
Sure.
So if you're in agreement to that additional year with a guarantee that pool is gonna be upgraded and the drain will be installed and be functional after that time, I think the board's all set to say, we're gonna cooperate with that 100%.
No, absolutely. So that would bring us out, if I'm correct, to September 10th of, 2028.
Correct. So that's more than enough time to appropriate the funds
You need a motion then?
and,
Not right now.
yeah, and, make that happen. So where do we at, Rick?
So what I'll do is, since I know that you're agreeable to it, I'll draft something for it and kind of put in what I think would be reasonable, milestones to hit. And then you guys can look at it and you can say, yeah, I'm happy with this, or would like to see this, or we'd like to remove this, and we'll have another discussion. So maybe if in 2 meetings, we could sit down and talk about it again.
All right. So that's very reasonable. I think that's a very, very good goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Okay. So I think we're gonna be in discussion with Rick. We'll have the final paperwork brought to you in, probably 4 weeks or so. And we'll have good understanding and agreement and know that this has to be done. And at that time, we will put a deadline when that pool has to be completed, whether it's
Okay.
gonna be spring or in the fall. I'm not quite sure where you wanna go with that.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can do those details.
all right.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being there. Thank you. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Very happy with that. Good. All right, Rick, you all set now?
Yep. So I'll stick around for the stable permit though.
Okay,
Yes.
where are we at with that, Carl?
Well, I'm gonna let Rick talk because he was the one
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
met with, Bill.
So last time we had sat down and talked about this, there was a question about the number of animals and exactly what type of animals they were. And then just some questions about the sketch and what he had going on. So Phil came in and he checked off that it would be a private stable, identified that he had originally given us 8 animals. The breakdown would be 6 horses and 2 goats. And then on the sketch, he added the location of the existing septic system as well as the approximate wetland line in the back, which is quite a ways away from where they're looking to store the manure. So you've got the house, and if you're looking at it, it's 8.5 by 11 going up, so a portrait. There's a house in the middle, right up by the road. The septic system is over to the left. You've got the barn. The well is roughly located between the house and the barn, and that manure storage area is going to be 150 feet away from the existing well. And this is the same manure management, at least sketch that was previously.
This is right on Route 13 and it abuts Tyler Road, right?
No.
No,
Well, yes, but Tyler Road would be on the.
Tyler
left
Road is
side.
545.82.
Correct, yeah.
And right now where pasture 6 is indicated, there's a garden there where they're growing flowers.
Yep. So these pastures some of the fencing's still up, but they're not actually there.
Correct.
Yeah, the fence line on the 548, the fence is not there. That abuts
Now,
my
where they
property.
have 5.3 acres, how are we still jurisdictional on 5?
So the issue is the mass general laws require that the Board of Health issue stable licenses for anybody that keeps a horse in town. Because you guys are over 5,000 as a population. And so in order to issue a stable license, the board has always required that somebody submit a manure management plan. The idea is that if it ever comes up in the future that there's a complaint about it, then we can pull out the manure management plan and say, this is what you had said to the board that you were doing. This is what the board agreed to. And you're doing it or you're not. And so that's kind of how you've dealt with it. Ultimately, I'm not sure how much jurisdiction you do have because there's over 5 acres and he's a farm under the Mass General laws. And they do have certain protections, but they're not there are still things that could happen on the property that, might not be odor or noise related to the animals, but you could have like flies attracted to the manure, and that would be an enforceable thing. So, it's not just a blanket protection to be able to do anything you want, but there are certain protections that are written into the general laws for farms.
Okay then, and where, see that 150 to the little round circle, that's where the manure is gonna be put.
Correct.
Okay, he's got an abundance of regrinds over there right now, and he's also processing loam.
Yeah, so the regrind, I did talk to him about, his plan is to spread that on the property in the parking area. And then the proposal for the manure is to take that loam, mix it with the manure and bring it off site to other places to use.
I like that way of thinking. Got any questions about this one, Paul?
No.
So what you're looking for is an approval on this manure management plan that we have in front of us, right, Rick?
I have some questions.
Okay, go ahead. You're the
Oh,
neighbor, right? You're the abutter?
Yeah, I'm the butter, I'm daily, 192. How often will the waste be removed from the site?
I would imagine when necessary.
Yeah, I mean, there's, some people
Is
that,
it once a month, is it,
it's probably not gonna be once a month.
No,
It's gonna take some time to compost the materials. So, I would expect that it's somewhere in the 4 to 6 month range that it'll be there.
yeah.
And another question I have, who's gonna inspect that this stuff is removed? You?
We don't typically inspect it, so
Oh, you
it's
don't.
on file.
Just,
We'll only go back
Yeah.
if we receive a complaint.
Will you also be inspecting the barn?
That would be done by the animal inspector, which I don't believe there is one right now, Carla.
That's true.
Cause I've been in that barn and it's in tough shape. All the side walls are pulled out. It's only a pole barn.
I
It
understand
wouldn't
that.
surprise me if it collapsed.
Unfortunately, that's not a jurisdiction of the Board of Health, so we can't go into that in any fashion.
So yeah, typically there would be an animal inspector, and I don't know if the town has it advertised or not, but they do what's called, they do. So they do barn inspections.
Yeah, but as far as the structure of the barn, that's the building department, has nothing to do with the Board of Health.
And also I've seen rats, found them in my driveway, rats coming out of the barn. A lot of rats. And I don't like it.
I wouldn't like rats either, but unfortunately, that's out of our control because we can only hope that the people do their best to control the rodents.
So we could, I'll take a look at it.
Okay, you wanna do an
Yeah.
inspection on that, Rick?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're coming out of the barn is where you've seen them?
Yes,
Okay.
I actually ran over one on my driveway.
that was a slow rat. He was not in the rat race. That was funny.
He ain't racing anymore.
Well, I like that way of thinking. That was kind of funny. You gotta have some humor here occasionally. All right, any more questions?
No, that's
Okay,
it.
we're doing the best within our
Oh, yeah, yeah.
jurisdictions to assist you, so,
Well, I mean, after what was there before, I just wanna,
oh, thank you very much.
yeah.
I know,
You know.
I know very well
Yeah.
about that. All right, so we
Okay,
need to put an approval on this tonight, Rick?
If you're ready to, yes.
You think that, you wanna approve this manure management plan for the parcel almost across the street from my place?
I move to approve.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna accept this as drawn and he's gonna have to comply by what he's put on paper, Rick.
Yep.
All right, any signatures on this or anything?
Nope.
All right, so that's where that's gonna go.
Yeah. So yeah, Carla will just have it on file in the office.
Yeah, okay, very good.
Okay, will I see you Thursday?
Yes, I'll be here.
Okay, I will not be here tomorrow if you're looking for me.
Okay, that's good. Have a good night, guys.
All right, thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, so we have some invoices.
Now, we got one more thing, don't we? Well, that's it?
No, that
Okay.
was the next meeting.
We got a Board of Selectmen situation that I want to address. The Board of Select person right now, Joe Shank, seems to be giving the Board of Health a lot of backlash on comments about what we've done and what we haven't done. And the Board of Health has been self-sufficient for all the years that I've been a member of the Board of Health, with never issues up until the past 6 years with the Select Board. So I'd like to send a letter to Mr. Shank and tell him to properly please go forward and move with what they're doing, taking over our trash contract and selling all their purple bags. We are not in favor of that. We don't want that to happen. That's our own opinion. And he thinks that we're opposing it. We're not opposing it. We're not in favor of it. And I think he's got to get a letter that says, stop bad mouthing the Board of Health. You people made the mistake. You overspent your budget. You put us in a financial devastation in the town of Townsend. And now you're throwing the Board of Health in as a scapegoat. And we're not the scapegoat for that. We didn't do it. They did. So I'd like to be able to put a draft together and send them a letter telling them to stay out of our business. You went out and you got the purple bags, you lost 550 grand somewhere. We didn't do that. We've always governed ourselves accordingly and done everything the appropriate fashion. So I want Mr. Shank to start focusing on the Veronica Kell syndrome. She's almost out of the picture now, and all the stuff that happened under that scenario.
Okay,
All right?
okay.
And I will sign that personally with your approval and even Chris's approval when he returns. But I'd like to expedite this and get this thing sent to them because I'm sick of what they're doing to us. Absolutely mortified.
I have a question for the board. Can the town go forward with this without the appropriations they requested and without another town meeting for an approval of this program?
It's my opinion that they shouldn't. They're rushing into this and they're throwing it right down the taxpayers' throats. Unfortunately, they're taking loops and bounds and they're isolating the Board of Health from any recommendations. So they want to control the town. They want to find the money to do this. They're not working with us in any fashion. I don't know what to tell you beyond that, sir.
Well, I've looked into this and in other towns, as long as, and it's been done on an individual basis, they will lose in court.
We gotta see where this is
Okay,
gonna
yeah,
go.
But
They won't even let us have legal counsel. We don't even have the right to legal counsel if we get a question. They won't even give us that without their approval, and that's all wrong in my opinion.
well, if it happens, you might throw it by them while you're talking to them. Are they gonna have enough money to set aside for the court decrees?
Well, let's see what happens after the
Yeah.
letter gets to Mr. Shank, because he's gotta stop what he's doing. He's out of order and out of line.
Okay, thanks. All right,
Thank you.
keep smiling.
Gotta smile, we can't frown.
If I see any more of those road wraps, I'll
No,
let you
you
know,
won't.
all right?
Sign an invoice.
Now you got the invoice this time, yeah.
Shaw's, I'm starting to tally the trash and recycling so you can see, if it's going up or going down. We'll see what happens. when-
What do you mean, that tonnage?
Tonnage.
He
So,
reports that, like, he doesn't charge us for tonnage, but he
No,
reports it,
but he
so we,
reports it to me,
okay,
yes.
interesting. Okay.
yes, so there's the ones, it's actually being very, very steady right now, but we'll see what happens.
Recycling is gonna go up, you know, if people are gonna recycle all of a
Right.
sudden.
Right, so that's just their monthly fee. And this is my August, travel.
You're on to LA,
I did not,
Oh.
I didn't go far.
we approved that trip.
After everything Carla has done for this board, I'll tell you what,
I would,
can't find another Carla.
Okay, because we lost the $6,000 credit for the recycling center in Shaw's disposing, they had to empty one of our containers. It was the bulky furniture, which I cannot take off of the grant money, so therefore it needs to come out of the general revolving fund, $475.
people charged when they drop furniture off there,
Yes,
they are, so.
Yes.
We recoup some.
Mhm.
Okay.
Unitil is just a regular monthly bill. It seems to be staying fairly steady. Mosquito Alliance, spraying the recycling center. every 4 to 6 weeks, depending upon the rain, because of all the disease that's going around. We don't want to have a problem there. The bugs are pretty
That
bad,
makes sense, yeah.
so,
$210 for that, huh?
yeah, it's not bad. He goes the whole property.
Okay. I use Mosquito Squad and they come out with snow.
Mhm.
Because I have an annual contract, it's 146 every 21 days.
Oh.
For 3 acres, but it's, you know, a little bit different residentially.
The security cameras, we need a new subscription to get them up and running because when Chris quit, he let the subscription run out. So I have not been able to see anything that's been going on at the recycling center. It's driving me crazy, so I had to go on and pay for it myself. So, it's $120 for the year.
When is it gonna be active?
Saturday, I'm going to work with the recycling employees to get it up and running because I have to take the SIM card out of the camera
Yeah.
and download it on my phone, so I can see everything like I used to, but
Right.
you have to get a ladder and my hip's really bad, and the last thing I wanna do is be up on a ladder trying to take out a SIM card.
Don't take a
It's
chance.
just, I don't wanna do that. Chain for the gate, we weren't sure if the gate was gonna stay open and whether or not we'd need a chain to keep it by the side. We do not because it's so level, it looks beautiful, but we did buy the chain and it was $8.73. And I'm sure that we can use the chain for something else at the recycling center.
Yes.
In fact, it might go on the dumpster because we have a trash dumpster
Okay.
at the recycling center. And when they're open, we're gonna have to keep that locked because I know that people will start trying to sneak in their household trash in there.
Okay.
As in Germany, we say Mark's nix, doesn't matter.
And the gate, the beautiful gate was $4,511.
Do we need a final inspection on that before we pay this?
I don't think so. I took a picture of it. I don't know if you guys saw it or
I
not.
haven't driven by.
Have you,
No, I didn't get up there either.
okay, it's beautiful. I mean, it really looks good. Like I said, when I opened up the gate, it just stayed right there.
On real windy days, it could require a chain, even if it's level, but that's hard to say until we experience it.
Anyway,
We just had a windy day this weekend, that's why I pointed that out.
do you think we should go inspect that, just look at it before we sign this, or?
Problem going to look at it, I don't know if we should hold up the person's money that did the work. So let's take a look and see what she's talking about.
It goes out straight 20 feet this way and 20 feet this way.
Yeah.
And it's 8 feet tall.
Looks good to me.
Yeah.
And the key goes, the lock goes right in at the gate right there. You can probably see.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah. That's a nice setup.
That's a nice setup, yeah.
Nice.
And where the recycling center wasn't open this Saturday and it wasn't on the website, and there was so many people that were very upset, not one person left their stuff.
Really?
I was very happy. At one point, it was shortly after 12 that some man said that he had connections and he was gonna open up the gate and let everyone in. And I dropped what I was
Maybe wants to
doing and
volunteer on a Saturday.
I drove down there and sat there from 12:30 to 2 because I was so worried that he was gonna open it up to everyone. So we'll be changing the code on that on Saturday as well.
Tell that gentleman we're looking for volunteers if you'd like to.
We have a volunteer, actually. I met a man who came down with his wife and he said, oh my gosh, see now, you should have someone like me, a volunteer, so, because they said we just don't have 2 people and we can't keep the recycling center open with 1 person. If they get hurt, it's just a liability for us. And he said, I would have come down, so he was here Monday morning. I sent you guys his information too, check your emails.
I'm not getting your emails.
You're not
so
getting
we're
my
gonna Figure
emails?
something out, yeah, I'll give you a different email address.
Send me a different email address. I'm not getting anything kicked back that's saying you're not getting them.
No, I have a feeling because I used
Okay.
to work email,
Okay.
that they must be blocking stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, the Pages Road program, I think we just had enough discussion on that. What do you think?
Here's your little flyer that went out. It'll be in the mailboxes on Friday.
Okay,
I have 3 cases left of the overflow bags that we bought several years ago. We have sold over 100 of them in the last 2 days.
okay.
Well, we'll see how long
I
that
know
lasts.
that, it came back, they were sold out, everybody
Yeah, Hannaford's and
Hannaford's and
McNabb's.
Cabs were sold out.
And I told them when they started this, the first meeting, call Hannaford's and call McNabb's and tell them that they need to order more bags because this program is starting. But the Waste Zero, the contractor wouldn't do it until the selectmen signed the contract. And they didn't do that for, what, a couple of weeks.
I'm right out of that one.
They do have their public.
Okay, I
forum
need a
tomorrow.
motion to close.
I'll motion to close the meeting.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Shut the recording off.